Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Byjus Exam Prep IAS, and today we are going to discuss the Hindu analysis for 10th February 2024. Now, at the very onset, let us see which all topics are we going to discuss. The first one regarding the Bharat Ratna announcement. 3 more recipients, Swaminathan, Rao, Charan Singh. This is the headline of the day, Swaminathan, Rao, Charan Singh to get Bharat Ratna. That's your first article. Second one, Imran-backed Independent lead Park polls. That's your second one. Third, Centre accounts for 60% of India's debt, Kerala tells Supreme Court. Now, this is a repetition topic and I'll show you when we have covered and what all we had covered that day. The fourth one is Misconception drives under prescription of ORS. Fifth, decline of America's leadership. Very interesting certain points if you take out from this lecture or article. It will help you write some very good answers about the, I would say, declining dominance of America as far as the international geopolitics is concerned. Next article is U.S China tussle. Warships in Indian Ocean dominate IOC conference. So we shall see yesterday in Perth. It has begun. And what were the initial day comments? We'll see the comments of our foreign minister and also the Sri Lankan president here. Apart from this, can preamble be amended keeping date intact, asks Supreme Court. Now, let me tell you, today's session comparatively would be of a smaller duration compared to the other days. The reason is, only the elections had happened on 8th February. Yesterday, the results have started to pour in. So we do not have the full results. So a lot has to be talked about in this later. So hardly few facts I'll tell you. Similarly, this also, only some observations have been pointed out yesterday. More will be talked about this in the coming days. And today's this article also, we will only look at Bharat Ratna from the art and culture perspective. So if you look at this, out of the 8 topics mentioned here, 3 are going to be of a smaller duration. And the 4th article, again, I'll show you, we have dealt it in a bigger manner, in a much broader manner earlier only. So out of the 8 main topics of today, 4 are something which we'll be covering quickly. The other 4, of course, we'll be covering in a very, very detailed manner. Apart from this, 2 topics for prelims. Rajya Sabha passes bills to add Paharis and Valmikis, and India-Saudi Arabia joint military exercise ends. So let's move ahead and start with the first topic for the day. See, I have taken it under the art and culture. Though if you read the newspapers today, some of them have been, questioning and they have been raising the issue behind the motive of granting the Bharat Ratna awards to these 3 personalities. Who have been awarded the Bharat Ratna yesterday? P.V. Narasimha Rao, our former Prime Minister in 1990s, Chaudhry Charan Singh, another former Prime Minister in late 1970s, had a very short tenure, and M.S. Swaminathan, the agricultural scientist and one of the key players when it comes to Green Revolution. Now, you all know already 2 people have been given this award in the last few days. Kapuri Thakur, the former Chief Minister of Bihar, and L.K. Advani, former Deputy Prime Minister of India. So, in all, this year, 5 awards have been granted, which is a record because before this, it was only in 1999 that 4 Bharat Ratnas were given. Usually, there is a caveat that 3 is the maximum, but 2 years, that is in 1999, 4 awards, and this year, 5 awards have been given. Now, you all can see here, Congress Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, famous for the liberalization policies that were adopted in 1990s. He was credited for steering the Indian economy through a very, very tough times in those days, along with the help of Indian economy, along with the help of Mr. Manmohan Singh or Dr. Manmohan Singh, and the Rao-Manmohan formula had helped us a lot in those days. Comes from the state of Andhra Pradesh, or present day, as it's referred, Telangana. Was born in Warangal. Second, Janata Party Prime Minister Charan Singh's championing of the farmers' cause has, brought him a lot of laurels. Now, 1977, the first non-Congress government had come in power at the center. At that moment, the Prime Minister was Mr. Morarji Desai. Later, his government had fallen and Charan Singh's government had come with the support or outside support of Congress, which had taken back its support within a month. And later, after 6 months, there were elections and Chaudhry Charan Singh remained the Prime Minister of India for around 6 months in those days. Very big leader when it comes to the farmers. Also credited to have started a political party named Lokdal, a freedom fighter, and also the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. He was a non-Congress Chief Minister after 1967 when the non-Congress governments had started to come in various states. In UP also his government had come. Third, agricultural scientist M.S. Swaminathan. His services when it comes to agricultural field or in the field of green revolution, which helped in food sufficiency or attaining the food sufficiency, is a big contribution to our country. Last but not the least, as you can see, 5 Bharat Ratnas, out of which the first 4 are posthumous. The last one, L.K. Advani, of course, sir is alive, and the other 4 have died. So this 4 have been given this as a posthumous award. Now, let me move ahead. See, this is your Bharat Ratna. If you all see, and we all know, this is the highest civilian award as far as India is concerned. Apart from this, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri are some of the other awards. The recommendations of these awards are made by the Prime Minister to the President of India. Now, whoever gets this, they usually receive a sanad, that is in English, certificate, that is signed by the President of India, and of course, a medallion. Remember everyone, there is no cash award in this, no monetary award as far as Bharat Ratna is concerned. Started in the year 1954, the first recipients were C.V. Raman, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan and Chakravarti Rajagopalachari. After that, around more than 50 recipients have got this particular award. And yesterday, after this award was given to these 3 great people, there were some demands to confer it to few other people also. For example, there was a demand being made that Mr. Kanshi Ram should also have been given this award. This was the demand made by BSP. Similarly, Shiv Sena demanded that V.D. Savarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar should also have received this particular award. So, many new demands are being made right now. Now, if you all see this particular award, clearly the picture will show you that this is made on a peepal leaf. The physical award is in the is in the shape of a peepal leaf. You can see here this. Now, second thing, if you notice, clearly in Devanagari script, Bharat Ratna is written. It's written here, Bharat Ratna. In English, it's Bharat Ratna. Remember, it's in Devanagari script. And you all can see our Bharat Ratna, it's a sunburst figure. You all can see here, this is the sunburst figure that's here. On the back side of this, you all can see again in Devanagari, Satyamev Jayate, or Satyamev Jayate is written, and this is under the emblem of our country. Now this you have to remember. Now if you notice one last thing here, see here. Now white may not be visible, let me take black color. Everyone see this portion and the emblem. This is made up of platinum. The white portion that you are seeing is made up of platinum, while the inscriptions, that is Bharat, Ratna or your Satyamev Jayate, they are, again let me take a white pen, they are in burnished bronze. You can wear it as a medal. That's how it is there. Now, see, I would request you people to keep an eye on some facts about Bharat Ratna. For example, if you see, if ever it is asked, how many foreigners have received this? So always remember Nelson Mandela and Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan are the two foreigners to have received this. If any one of you are remembering the name of Mother Teresa, do remember she had become a citizen of India at that point when it was given to her. In polity, you all know, under Article 18, Subclause 1, nobody who receives this award can use it as a prefix or suffix to their name. Of course, on their, I would say, your biodata or visiting card, they can write Bharat Ratna XYZ, but they cannot use it as a prefix or suffix. There was a very famous case in polity regarding a very popular actor of South India who had used this prefix of Padma Shri. So in polity you will study that. Last but not the least, please remember, initially these awards were not given posthumously, but later after 1966 changes were made to this and posthumous awards were also given. Youngest, of course, Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar to have received this particular award. Some controversies have also been there, but I do not want to talk about any controversy on such a good day where three of the finest sons of our country have got the Bharat Ratna, adding to overall list of 5 for this particular year. Let's move ahead with this second topic. Now everyone, second topic IR related. Yesterday or day before yesterday, basically Pakistan had their elections, and in the elections, presently the last numbers that shows is that PTI, the party of Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan, they are leading. Now when I say this statement, please understand, PTI was not allowed to contest this election and their symbol bat was also confiscated. So basically PTI, what they did was they bagged some of the independent candidates. Everywhere they put their candidates as independent candidates. So that's why you can see independent candidates mostly backed by jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Now, those who may not know, and you should not know also, there is not a need of that, but Imran Khan is presently in jail. He is accused of some cases. One of the cases, Toshak Khana case, where he was accused of taking gifts from the government and at a very lesser rate and later selling them at very higher rates. The other case is, there is a cipher case where he is accused of telling the world about the state secrets. This is something that he had raised last year. And one more case under which he is serving the jail sentences with regards to his marriage and with Bushra Bibi. So there are some cases under which he is in jail right now. But his independent backed candidates, you can see, out of the announced 226, they had won 92. Now, overall, how many seats are there? 265. So a party has to win minimum 133 out of this to win the elections. Of course, the other parties who were there and who have performed in a big number, Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, they have got 64 out of the announced 226. Pakistan People's Party, this is led by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. I'll rub this, just give me a second. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, and he has got till now 50 out of 226, and some there are 20 independents. No need to remember this number. Forget it, because anyways the final numbers have to come. So we do not have to remember this, but then the thing is, these elections that have happened over there, clearly they are hinting that maybe Pakistan is moving towards a hung assembly. And you all know these elections, if you have some idea, were very much heavily criticized for the fact that there are unusual delays in the announcement of the results. Now let me tell you, these delays happened in 2018 also. And then also the independents or the independent observers, they had said that basically the Pakistan army is rigging these elections. They want their own people to come to power. And in 2018, their favorite was Imran Khan and his PTI, and they supported him. And Nawaz Sharif was ousted at that point. This time, there is a term in Pakistan's politics that they are using right now, a Hindi word, ladla, or Urdu word it might be. Ladla means one who is the favorite of the army. So right now they are saying it is Nawaz Sharif who is the ladla of the army. And if you all see, of course, the ladla has not got the majority, but if these people come together, they can get the majority. And don't forget, these people are independents. So they are not aligned to any party. So always you know what can happen. Some of them, the horse trading can take place and they can move from one party or one, group to the another. So there are a lot of allegations of rigging at this point in the elections. Now, that's the thing. Not much to speak over here. Yesterday only, Nawaz Sharif has urged all the political parties that let us come together, form a coalition and take Pakistan out of the problems that they are facing. He is saying we are inviting everyone to rebuild injured Pakistan. I would only suggest one thing. They need to rebuild a lot of things, starting from their policies which support terrorism. Because if one thing has hurt Pakistan a lot in the last 2.5 decades, it has been their policy of supporting terrorism. And Pakistan needs to relook at its policies that they have adopted right from the times of Ziaul Haq, where they have always supported these non-state actors, thinking that these people would create troubles for the neighbors. The problem is they have started coming back and biting Pakistan itself. I think Hillary Clinton had very aptly said this thing, that you cannot expect to have a cobra in your backyard and that cobra should only eat or sting your opponents. They will come to roost you also. So that's the thing. Again, a lot of things will keep on coming in news. Third article. What's the third article for the day? This is Centre accounts for 60% of India's debt, Kerala tells the Supreme Court. Now before I come to this article, please see. On February 7th, that is 3 days ago, I have already talked page number 7, the severe erosion of fiscal federalism. That editorial was regarding the Kerala and the financial embargo that has been imposed on it by the central government. There we had talked about net borrowing ceiling. Now all of you see this. This is that day's, I'm not explaining this. On 7th, you all can see, present day article is hardly 2-3 paragraphs. That day, a big editorial had come. Along with this big editorial, later there was one more article on this. So if you remember, 7th February, We did it in a big manner. We talked about what exactly is the case. Where has Kerala gone to Supreme Court against the centre, saying that centre has placed financial embargo on them. Now in this there was a topic called net borrowing ceiling, NBC, and the article, the author was saying NBC violates Article 293 of the Constitution. Now exactly what is NBC? This is all the borrowings of the state from all the sources, including open market borrowings. And why is Kerala so unhappy? Because even the borrowings taken by Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board was kept under the NBC. So there was lots of things that we discussed. In retaliation to that, the government of India in the Supreme Court had said that, see, Kerala is one of the most financially unhealthy states in our country. And the government in the Supreme Court said that, see, if the states keep on doing reckless borrowing, it will hurt the poorly targeted. They do the reckless borrowing by the poorly targeted subsidies, unproductive expenditure, and this leads to loss of state income. The development funds for the people go down, and this all hurts us. So, in the Supreme Court, Centre had said this thing. Now, coming back to today's article, everyone, in today's article, you can see Kerala replying to the Centre in the Supreme Court says that they saying us about our fiscal management should remember that almost 60% of the total debt or the outstanding liabilities are on the government of India. Union government is liable to almost 60%. If there is a 100 rupee liability or debt on India, out of that 60 is on the government of India. Kerala government rather says, if you look at our numbers, we are hardly accountable to 1.75% of all the debt that is on the centre or the states if you look at the period of 2019-23. So hardly on us, 1.70 to 1.75% is the burden. So Kerala is pointing out that, look who is calling us the bad people or the people who have not maintained their records or the financial conditions in a good manner. They are saying Union has a dismal record in this case. And they have pointed out that if this continues, India's debt could exceed 100% of the GDP in the medium term. As you all can see, this is in response to the Attorney General of India saying if the states keep on doing reckless borrowing like Kerala does, it overall affects the credit ratings of the country. So this is a matter again going on in the Supreme Court, and this has been brought by the Kerala against the centre, saying that centre is doing undue interference and thus interfering in both the legislative as well as executive power of the state. So this is again an article which we have already done in a very big manner, in a very broad manner. So please refer to that. Nothing more in this particular topic. Moving ahead from the third, we come to the fourth topic for the day. The fourth topic is on page number 6 regarding health, that the misconceptions drives under prescription of ORS. All of you must be knowing the full form, oral rehydration salts. Most of you or many of you might have used it sometime in your life also. These are at times and most of the times life savings and very inexpensive treatment for specifically diarrhea in children. The problem in this article, it is written that the problem is that even though most healthcare developers in the countries, they know that ORS helps in saving the lives in an inexpensive manner when it comes to diarrhea in the children, that the problem is very few prescribe it. That is, the people who are looking after the health of the common people, the doctors and all, they are not prescribing it. Diarrhea is a leading cause of death in children, and almost half of the diarrheal cases around the world are not receiving ORS. This all is published in your magazine, that is Science. So if you remember this much, it's more than sufficient for this particular article. But then, a lot of you have written that I should use the PPTs like this. So I'm bringing the most important points on the PPT, but then I'll also be writing, because I have got both sides of comments. People have asked me that keep on writing. People have asked me, please give us more in the PPT also. So today I have tried to balance out both the sides. Now, if you look at the study, they talk about 3 types of explanation that why ORS is less used. Number 1, the first thing they think is that the providers, those who are giving these treatments, they prefer non-ORS treatments, like let's say antibiotic, because they think that people have a perception that ORS is not a medicine. Their point is that the people think that ORS is not a real medicine. Second, they say a lot of times ORS not being given is ORS stockouts. That is, it's not there in the stock. Third, providers may also be falling for the financial alternatives. That is, if they subscribe or they give something else, they would have much better incentives in that case, because I have said in the first slide only, ORS is inexpensive. On the other hand, if you subscribe a antibiotic, they may give you double the profit. So that's the reason here that many people are subscribing to non-ORS products. Providers are giving them this. Now in this article, they said we did a study across 253 medium-sized towns in Bihar and Karnataka, studying some 2,000 providers. Now, those who have sociology, in your chapter 3, there is a chapter called research methodology. Those who do not have sociology, don't worry about that. But research methodology talks about, data collection, empirical data being collected, how the things are done. So in this study, let's say Rohit Kumar would go as an actor who has been trained as a patient. I would go to, let's say, a shop, a chemist, and I would ask them that, see, I'm suffering from diarrhea, or rather my child who is 2-year-old is suffering from diarrhea. Give me ORS. Now, there is a chance that somebody would say ORS stockouts have happened. So, already in half of these 253 towns, stocks were also provided initially only, so that nobody can give this particular example. So let's say again I'm coming back. So I had gone over there saying I need this for my child for his treatment. Now, the study said that this thing is the biggest reason. 42% people automatically feel that Rohit Kumar would not prefer ORS for his child. The number 2, financial reasons are only 6%. And the third one, financial is this side, financial is only 6%, and ORS stockouts are only 5%. So, clearly, in this study, they are saying that when it comes to treatment of diarrhea and such diseases, please go for ORS. That's the thing that they are talking. Few numbers I have given. You can remember this. It may help you in any of your, questions on health, where they are talking about, that what are the problems faced by the healthcare in our country. Give this example. Give this studies example. Moving ahead, big topic. Decline of America's leadership. Now all of you can see here, this is written by Krishnan Srinivasan, who is a former foreign secretary. And you all can see 4 lines I have given here on this and 2 lines I have given over here. Now everyone, these 6 lines that you are seeing here, they all come from paragraph number 2 till almost your paragraph number 3. So 2 and 3 are written in front of you. Now let me tell you, you do not have to remember all these. Remember any one or two. Basically, in this article, the author is saying that when you look at the strengths of America, what is the strength of America? One thing they say is military power is their strength. That's correct. Second thing they say that America has a pivotal position when it comes to global financial system. Of course, America is a technology pioneer also. And the fourth is America provides some values platform. Now, the author is saying that based on these four major factors, in India there is a pro-American lobby who keep on talking about closer, I would say, cooperation between India and America. But then in the second and third paragraph, the author is saying that is not the case. Things have started to change now. Why is he saying so? He is quoting all of you. No need to remember all the quotes. Any one or two will be sufficient. But if you see, Ian Bremmer, his line is, the US is already the world's most divided and dysfunctional advanced industrial democracy. I can give you example. Think about one man, Trump. If you all remember, last time when the elections happened, what all things were happening in America, how the riots had happened in Capitol. So they are a democracy, no doubt about that. But then they have been very, very, I would say, they have been divided on the lines of democratics and republics, and they are totally against each other. So they have become a dysfunctional democracy. Of course, no doubt that they are advanced and industrial. But right now, as a democracy, they have become totally divided, totally dysfunctional. Second, Laura Quinsberg, she speaks, Western leaders in 2024 are grappling with a world where other dominant countries are less attached to conventional international rules. You know, we talked about American strengths. America, one of the strengths I said was that they had, where it is, values platform. So, the conventional international rules that US had always been advocating, now the others are like, why should we, follow that? The world is following a new order. We might need to change these conventional rules also. Similarly, Andrew Whitehead speaks, America's democracy seems to have lost the ability to renew itself. I've already talked about democracy here. So I'll leave the third point, and even in the fourth point, the same thing is being spoken. Jonathan Friedland is saying, not for nothing is there serious concern in US that January 2025 could open a new chapter of US authoritarianism, even an American dictatorship. We all know elections are due in America in November 2024. What appears now, it is going to be an election between Biden and your Trump. Both of them would be fighting here. Biden for his second term. Trump had lost his second term bidding. So third election, of course, for the second term. And how the things are shaping, many people are worried that if Mr. Trump comes to power, there is a serious worry that America may go for dictatorship, US authoritarianism. Now the world was being taught about democracy by America, and they themselves are going back on their own words. All these slogans, make America great again, MAGA, that Trump talks about. If that happens, what would happen to the world? And how can you even think that America's leadership would remain as it is? Now, fifth line, Frank Gardner says, last 12 months have been a setback for US, Europe and other major democracies in international politics stage. Think about, they supported Ukraine. Now it appears that the major democracies, the Western democracies, are tired of this particular war. Similarly, they can see what happened in Palestine and Israel. First of all, their big lacuna was they could not save the innocent Israeli people from the horrific attack done by Hamas. International agencies had almost no clue about this. Second is, after that what happened, now they are not able to control Israel. Lots of innocent people have died. And even today, one of the statements of Joe Biden was that Israel's retaliation is now going out of bounds. So, they are pointing that there is a balance shift here when it comes to US dominated Western values. So clearly on many fronts the wind is blowing the wrong direction for the Western interest. The Western interests are not being followed. Last but not the least, Neil Ferguson says the harsh reality is that the US is no longer very good at getting B to do something that B would not otherwise do. So here, let's say, take example of Israel. So they are saying US has lost its power to convince a nation, for example, Israel, be here. So the harsh reality is that US is no longer very good at getting Israel to do something that Israel would not otherwise do. Earlier what used to happen? US would put pressure, and their pressure would make many of the nations, I'm not talking about Israel only, but many nations stop doing what they were doing. But now US has lost that particular ability. So here Mr. Ferguson also adds that if you look at purchasing power parity, China in 2023 has got an economy that was a fifth larger than US. So according to Neil Ferguson, there are some big problems that are being faced by America, and most of you know one of them is illegal immigration. They are going backwards when it comes to new technologies. There are deficits in laws. Deficit in law, you can see the gun culture. Across the America, we keep on getting the news that innocent people are killed, and they have not been able to close this or end this. Mr. Ferguson also says national debt is rising and presently has become $32 trillion. So all these are big problem. So here in this article, the author talks about that how did the US rise? The US rise is after Second World War. In history we study, in world history you study, in international relations you study, and after that a rule-based order, which is an abstract concept. You don't know exactly what is a rule-based order, but then this was created. Created by whom? Washington and their allies. And the problem was Washington always considered itself as exempt from these. So rule-based order, for example, if I say one of the rule-based order would be do not interfere in the internal matters of the other states. But if you remember, Washington would be the biggest culprit in this. They have done this in many places. If I give you examples, think about Afghanistan. Think about Iran. So the credibility of America is in question. Al Jazeera has given a number. Al Jazeera says that USA has presently 750 military base in 80 countries. And that also Al Jazeera says we do not know exact number because many of these bases have not been told by America. They have not published data about that. So now you tell me who gives the right to US to do all this? This is clearly an interference. Not only this, with the coming of Trump, last time when Trump had became the president of America, what US did? They pulled itself from Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. Now Trans-Pacific Partnership, which US had formed along with 12 nations like Australia, Canada, Brunei, Chile, Japan, that was pulled. Trump said we are not going to ratify this particular treaty. So the author says that this would have been a very good step when it comes to human rights, transparency, liberal democracy, but that was not adhered by your America only. One of the name coming time and again in this discussion is of Mr. Trump. I told you last time when the elections happened, world's one of the biggest democracy, second biggest after India, if I say like that. They questioned the entire election process. The supporters of Trump, even till today, they believe that the last elections of 2020 presidential elections, they were rigged. So clearly, the importance of America is going down, and in this, another very important role is being played by China and Russia. Chinese government, Russian governments, they are hell-bent on keeping their authoritarian regime. They are trying to create a new type of international system where they use the advantages that they have with regards to trade. Think about the policies that China has used with regards to African countries, Belt initiatives. So that's been done here. And there is a big question about the Western democratic values also. You know, if you go to countries like Asia, Africa, when the Western nations preach people about these democratic values, the people would question them that this is neo-imperialism. You people, that is Americans, Europeans, are being arrogant. They think they are a level superior to the Africans or the Asians. So they question this. Similarly, I can tell you one thing, and you would study this, everyone. I told you, this global financial system, America having a pivotal position. Even there, America is being questioned. And the question is coming from none other than BRICS. Though it's very far, but BRICS has started to talk about a contest between local currencies and dollars. Because presently in the world, what is going on? Dollar is, I will write here, dollar-centric system is going on, which is very, very, I would say, unacceptably incorrect, because risks are high based on only one currency. So BRICS and all, they are pushing their own currencies here. So based on this, the author says that if you see, the conclusion of this is, the author is pointing out that US no longer is the indispensable nation as it was termed. And that's why for India, it would be that develop our relations with America, no problems with that, but do remember the deficiencies that America is having. So that's all about Indo-America relations. Moving ahead, there was another article, U.S. China tussle again, warships in Indian Ocean dominate IOC conference. Now what has happened is, yesterday we had in Perth organized an Indian Ocean conference. So you can see here it was organized. What it is focusing on? It's focusing on regional cooperation for Indian Ocean rim and littoral states that has gone underway. Now the problem is, in this, there was only one state head who was there, that was Sri Lankan President, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. And he said, India, US, Australia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, China, they all have been increasing the naval presence in Indian Ocean significantly. And I'll come to this point in a minute or so. So if you see here, the thing is, the militarization of Indian Ocean and the great power rivalry is going on here. And this is becoming a concern for smaller countries. Let's take example of Sri Lanka. So that was spoken yesterday by Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. Now, if you all have to get an idea about which are the Indian Ocean states here, there are states like Thailand, even Somalia, Tanzania, South Africa, of course Sri Lanka is there, So many nations, almost 20 plus nations are a part of this. So Mr. Vikram Singh is saying that, see, this is becoming very, very tough for us. How do the smaller powers or smaller countries, they balance the rivalry that is going on between the big nations? For example, China and, let's say, US. Or in Indian Ocean, let's take example of China and India. So for example, last year what happened is India objected that a Chinese ship that was docking in Sri Lankan ports, that is in Colombo and Hambantota. Why did we object? We said that these are basically spy ships. So then Sri Lanka put a moratorium of 1 year, that for next 1 year, all foreign research ships would not be docked in their ports. Now, forget Sri Lanka for a second. You all know our relations with Maldives are going through a critical time right now. In Maldives also came a Chinese warship. Name was Xiang Yang Hong 3. They also had planned to dock in Maldives. Maldivian government said that this is a regular port call. And this again, escalated the tensions between Mr. Modi's government and Byjus's government. You all know Byjus is the president of your Maldives. So based on this, in conference, the smaller states, they are raising this issue that, see, there are a lot of problems that are happening when there is a race between the bigger nations, and we find it tough to manage this. Of course, Mr. S. Jaishankar, our Honorable Foreign Minister, had also spoken here, and he basically, I would say, focused on China, where he said that the nations who are not, obeying the orders, like international order, like they are not following what is happening in LSC, long-standing agreements are not obeyed by them, it becomes very, very tough for everyone. So that's about your the tussle that is going on in Indian Ocean. Moving ahead, please understand on page 10, can preamble be amended keeping date intact? This is a matter going on in Supreme Court. Everyone, you can look at the last line. The court agreed to hear further arguments in the week commencing April 29, 2024. Clearly, you all can see this is going on. This is a matter that will keep on coming even in April. Now, what is the matter? Matter is basically the BJP leader, Mr. Subramanian Swamy. He has filed a petition saying the words like socialist and secular, they should be dropped from preamble. Because we all know these were not in the initial constitution, rather brought by 42nd constitutional amendment when emergency was going on. So originally the words were sovereign democratic republic, and later the word socialist and secular were added, and it was made sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. So these 5 key words were there in the preamble. So yesterday in the Supreme Court, basically due to judge bench, they are raising the question that can we alter the preamble? So they said yes, we can, and this has been established in the one of the most landmark judgments like Keshwanand Bharti case also. But then they are saying that amendments to the preamble, can it be adopted without making a change on the date? Because the original constitution was adopted on November 26, 1949, and preamble was amended in 1976. See, there were other words also that were added, like unity of the nation was changed to unity and integrity of the nation. So here in this matter, Supreme Court is only saying from an academic point of view that can we make a change in the preamble without changing the dates. So that is the question that yesterday Justice Dipankar Datta and Justice Sanjeev Khanna had raised. So that's the matter, and anyways it would keep on coming. You can see here they said, some people observed, the lawyers said it was not that preamble could not have been amended. Everybody accepts preamble can be amended, but the question is, can it be done without changing the date? So one of the observation yesterday was preamble did come with a date. Therefore, if we are amending it without any debate, that's been suspect. So again, will come many times in future also. Next hearing is in April. Coming to the last two articles which are important from your prelims perspective. Rajya Sabha has passed a bill to add Paharis and Valmikis to scheduled tribe and scheduled caste lists in J&K. I only want you to remember certain tribes like Paddari, Gadda Brahmins, Koli community, they all have been added to ST list, and Valmikis, they have been added to the scheduled caste list. So do remember, in this article there is a reference to one more thing, that is there are protests in Kashmir with regards to addition of these communities in ST by Gujjar Bakarwal community. So remember, this community comes from J&K. This is something that you need to remember for prelims. Last article for the day, nothing, a small article, India-Saudi Arabia joint military exercise ends. India-Saudi Arabia joint military exercise, what's the name of this? Sada Tanseek. Please remember, this is an exercise between Indian Army and the Royal Saudi Land Force, which was concluded in Jaipur after a 12-day exercise. So just remember, this exercise is between India and Saudi Arabia. Do remember it. For our close relations with Middle East are continuously increasing, becoming more and more stronger. So do remember this for IR, mainly from the perspective of prelims. With that, we are done with this session. I hope you enjoyed the session. I said at the very beginning, it would be a smaller session today, and we have completed it. Any doubts you have, please post it in the comment section. More than happy to help you, and we'll meet again later in the next session tomorrow. Till then, goodbye. Thank you. Have a great day.